everybody. I'm finally ready to start with episode 4. This part is going to cover the Canary Islands, the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade. We'll also get into a little bit of meeting the Taínos. It's going to be a little bit complicated because there is a lot of info. I'm going to go slow because I don't want to get confused and I don't want anybody else to get confused. And I'm sorry, I have a little person with me right now. I just got her, so she's only 10 weeks and she thinks I'm her mother. So she will be all over. And I'm doing this because I think it's important for us as Dominicans who have been born or raised outside of the island to really understand our culture and our history. Most of us don't have a good concept of where ancestors came from and why we are who we are. So that is why I'm doing this, and I hope you continue to enjoy the information that I'm getting. Doing a lot of research, which I enjoy. I love doing it. So let's just hop to it. So just recapping as to why I'm talking about the Canary Islands when I'm talking about Dominican history. So the Canary Islands are basically our big brother. They were invaded and conquered before the Dominican Republic was. So that's why in order to understand our history, we need to go further back and understand how this even started so that we can later on put everything together and realize why we do what we do. Where do a lot of our customs and traditions come from? So as you can tell from the map, this is Africa, the continent of Africa. Africa actually has 54 countries, thousands of tribes. So up here is Spain, Portugal. These little dots right here are the Canary Islands. So they are a group of 7 islands off the coast of Africa near present-day Morocco, Western Sahara, Mauritania. And we've known, or the world at the time knew about them, about these islands, but they were called the Fortune Islands at the time. This was around 40 BC. So through Juba II, so this is Juba II, he was king of the North African states of Libya and Mauritania, and he was the one who originally explored the islands that came to be called the Canary Islands because of the large amount of canines. I thought it was the bird. Honestly, I thought it was the bird, but it's the dogs, canines, that were found on the island. His wife was Cleopatra Selene II, who was the daughter of the famous Mark Antony of Rome and the even more famous Cleopatra VII of Egypt. She greatly influenced her husband's, Juba's, decisions, political decisions, and supported him in the expedition that eventually found the Canary Islands. And we know about this expedition because of 2 Greek writers, Plutarch and Pliny the Elder. They wrote about his expedition. So about 1,000 years after Juba visited the Canary Islands, the Arabs began visiting and trading on the islands, in particular the one named La Gran Canaria. Another 300 years would go by before we would get the Portuguese, the Italian Genoese, the French explorers visiting the island. So their official recorded contact with Europeans was about 1325 when the Genoese men landed on the island. They built a castle and they immediately began enslaving the natives.